Why use technology to go fishing? Well, let me show you why. I use the Navionics Boating App, and I use one of their key features. Anytime I go out fishing, I do some pre-planning, I find some new structure, I find some places I believe fish will be hanging, and guess what? This one feature in the Navionics Boating App will put you on some fish. Let me show you how we caught these 12 keeper yellowtail by using this feature. It is a game changer. Even when you've been fishing the same waters, you will find some new locations and you will get yourself on some fish. So stick around, let me show you how I use it.
Welcome aboard, let's go fishing.
Drink of choice, of course. So this is the Navionics Boating App, available on all the app stores. I'm an Apple guy. This is on my iPad. I have it on my phone as well, which is what I usually use on my boat. So you can see I have a lot of areas here in Key Largo that I've fished and I keep track of. But the really cool thing about this is if you go here and you turn on relief shading, then you can see the bottom. So it gives you a lot of detail. You can see I have some favorite locations. So this is a prime example. And when you touch that, it gives you little crosshairs and you can check depths, etc. So that was one of my honey holes I found because of this drop-offs here. Caught a grouper and a mutton. Typically when I catch something decent, I'll mark it as such. But you can see, you can come around here and right off the edge of the reef, you can see how drastic these drop-offs are. Find a lot of good areas. A lot of times I'm looking for some kind of structure that is unique. Zoomed in a little too far there, but so you can see like this is pretty shallow patch reef, I'm assuming, and then it drops off and got a big yellowtail in that location, so there's a large drop off there. So that's kind of what I do. I usually do this ahead of time. You can see here's another nice spot. Got a pretty rapid drop off. I marked that as a good location, you know, and of course all of it depends on your boat positioning for your chum. I usually anchor up and chum, so, and you know, in this particular case, depending on the current, the wind, etc., if you want to fish that exact location, which is what I typically mark where we catch the fish, then when you pull up the next time, you got to figure out, should the boat be here, up here, wherever. Of course, you don't want to anchor on a reef. So that's kind of how I do it. I go around, I look at different structures. You can see a lot of areas here where there's patch reefs. You can check those out. And like this one here, usually when I mark it green, I caught that on December 11th. I don't know what year, because it didn't pull it up. But really cool app. That's kind of how I do it. So let me show you. I got some markers here. Was really good. There it is. Okay, so this prime example. This was one of the best places that I've ever found. So I found this in advance. So I was kind of looking at this, you know, this is areas around here. It's probably sand, it appears, but you can see there's some unique structure here. Pretty marginally deep water for around the reef, so like 40, not a huge bump here, but you know, a 5 or 6 foot bump, you know, pretty rapid drop offs. So in this general area right here is where I wanted to fish, and we went out there. I believe, if memory serves me right, we were getting blown this way, so we anchored over here with the boat, put our chum in, and then we were catching fish on this point. The day we went out to this particular location, we caught 12 yellowtail keepers off of that little patch reef. So sometimes I mark them ahead of time. So what I typically like to do, this was on the way out. If I see a lot of fish on the fish finder, I'll mark them as I'm traveling. I assume this is the same way right here. That was a pre look at where I might go fishing, and same way there. So same way, you know, you have this area around these humps that are typically going to be pretty good. So there you have it. That's kind of how I do it. This was probably the best location I've ever found by doing this ahead of time. I did find this general vicinity, and as we were coming out, we were coming from the south to the north, we got on them. So there you have it. Took a day off. We're gonna do some fishing. We're in some deep water. We're in 40 foot deep for us, and we got some live pinfish that we caught in the pinfish trap. We're gonna give it the college try. Stick around, see what happens. Here's a bite. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. That was a nice one. Appreciate you sticking around watching this video. I did want to share these tips on this special feature within the Navionics Boating App. That relief shading is a game changer in your fishing game. You can get on there, prepare ahead of time, you know, look at places you've been that you normally go to, check some adjacent locations. You can see the complete bottom. As long as your water is within their app, you just download that map. Pretty straightforward, not trying to make this a Navionics tutorial, just trying to show how advantageous that relief mapping can be in your fishing game. So we got out there, we did get on a lot of fish, caught 12 keepers, kind of putting together a little mini series here of, you know, the preparation. I'll do some tackle and bait, etc., and then put you on some fish as the third part of the series. So we're going to try something a little bit different, and if you've been sticking around watching my videos, let me know. Did you give it a try? Did you download the Navionics Boating App? I believe it's a free trial, and then not very expensive for all the opportunities you gain both on the fishing side, and it's spectacular on the navigation side. It's one of my main sources of navigating. So it is a great app. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just a big fan of their app. You know, I use Apple devices, so it's on my iPad and my iPhone. You can also pull it up online on the Mac, etc. And once you save any of your waypoints, your markers, your routes, your tracks, all that stuff, it goes across all the different devices. So very helpful. Hopefully this is helpful to you if you've never used it. Appreciate the views. Let me know in the comments if you had an opportunity to try it. And as always, if you would hit that like, subscribe, and click that notification button, because I'm going to make a little mini series out of this fishing adventure using this, pre-planning how we rigged, what kind of bait we used, and then also catching a lot of yellowtail fish. So hopefully you enjoyed. God bless. Everybody have a great day.